Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at how Arsenal could line up versus Fulham. So we're going to go straight into the formation, and is Mikel Arteta going to go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, or is he going to go with the 3-4-3 formation? And I think Mikel Arteta is a tactical genius, as we all know, as he was given the job, because I think he's very smart in terms of changing formation throughout the game, and he was also quoted by Marcelo Bielsa that he's seeing things Mikel Arteta does that even he hasn't even thought of. So I think Mikel Arteta does some very smart things. If you watch the game versus Slavia Prague, the way he changes that 4-3-3 formation, the 4-2-3-1 formation, into a 3-4-3 formation with the likes of Granit Xhaka coming in deep, so they play as a back three with the likes of Xhaka, Mari and Rob Holding, and the likes of Callum Chambers allowed to go forward, and allowing Dani Ceballos to play on the left wing sort of role, and maybe also giving the opportunity for Nicolas Pepe to play that left wing back role sometimes, or giving Dani Ceballos to go to that left hand side, let Partey have the middle and let the flow go through the attack and play with a more 3-4-3 formation. So in terms of what Mikel Arteta does, he knows how to adopt formation throughout the game, but I think he's going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation given the fact that it's been working at certain matches, as we saw against Slavia Prague, but in certain matches we clearly see that it doesn't work. So we have to be very careful about what Mikel Arteta does, and I think he was going to remain with the 4-2-3-1 formation. And that's the formation that I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with, and I'm happy with that formation. So we're going to go straight into the goalkeeper, and Mikel Arteta has two options pretty much, Bernd Leno or Matt Ryan. And now we're getting to the most crucial part of the season, as I always see it, is the end of the season. And if you finish strong in a season, then you always end up with a good statistics, you end up with a good passion for the next season, and you have a good opportunity to go higher up in the league. As Mikel Arteta has stated, he has clearly quoted in his press conference that the fact is that he hasn't even imagined of not playing European football. So he's taking the Premier League seriously as well, and he's trying to at least make sure that he secures a European place by getting into the top 6, which looks very unlikely in my opinion, with Arsenal currently in 9th position. So you have to wait and see if Arsenal can take off Fulham, who look set to be relegated, and take the opportunity like they did against Sheffield United and finish the game off very early in the match. So in terms of the goalkeeper, I think he's going to go with the strongest goalkeeper, and that's going to be Bernd Leno pretty much, and we all know that he's going to be starting. So now we're going to move into the right back position. This is where we're going to have a lot of questions. Is Mikel Arteta going to go with Hector Bellerin, Callum Chambers, or Cedric Soares? And I think Hector Bellerin might be chosen by Mikel Arteta this time round because he wasn't chosen for the previous 2 games, and we always know that Mikel Arteta's favourite is Hector Bellerin, and Hector Bellerin and Mikel Arteta goes back in time. They were very good, close back in the days, and they're very close still now. So you're going to still have that bias in him, in my opinion. And I always say that I only have one problem with Mikel Arteta. And with Fabrizio Romano keen that it's 90 to 95% sure that Hector Bellerin will be leaving this summer, I think it's only good for the club, because Mikel Arteta, if he gets rid of these favourites from his club, then that will be good in terms of letting these players play. The players that actually deserve it, as we clearly can see with the likes of Callum Chambers being given the opportunity versus Slavia Prague, because he played well and he gets his opportunity. But for this match with Mikel Arteta, probably going to go with Hector Bellerin just to make sure his transfer value remains intact, and they are able to get that 20 to 25 million pounds they're looking for Hector Bellerin, which obviously I think we could get at least 30 million pounds for him, because PSG and Barcelona are set to be the front runners, with Juventus also likely to sign Hector Bellerin as well, because they're in a search of a right back as well. So in terms of Mikel Arteta, he will probably go with Hector Bellerin, but for me, I'd love to see Cedric Soares there. If I was to choose a right back, give Callum Chambers a rest, because we've still got till the 29th to play Slavia Prague, because that's the match I'm only having my eyes right now. Not Slavia Prague, and Villarreal versus Unai Emery. That's the only match that's in my eyes right now, and hopefully the Gunners are very prepared for that game. So rest some players now. They've done the hard work on Thursday. Rest some players, and then move on to the next game, which is probably in the Premier League. So for me, I'll say Cedric Soares in the right back position, but I don't mind Hector Bellerin as there, because if he can prove me wrong in this match, then it's only good for the team, only good for the players to have competition between them, and importantly health competition between the players, to make sure that they push each other on and make sure that the best can be got from the players, in my opinion. So I don't mind if it's Bellerin or Cedric Soares, but I'll say Callum Chambers deserves the rest, in my opinion. So now we're going to move into the right centre back position. And there is one man that solidified that spot, in my opinion. That's Rob Holding, in my opinion. And the way he did it at the start of the season, he was playing in that position, and then when David Luiz hit a bit of form, then Mikel Arteta thought, you know what, David Luiz, you can get back into the team. But then we can see that Rob Holding has been starting to show the qualities of David Luiz, as I can clearly see in the matches. He's very vocal when it comes to his play. He's telling the players what to do. He's telling them, giving them instructions, giving them directions, and that's something that I want to see my centre-backs do, because in a game like a game versus Fulham, they're going to play like a top team plays, even though they don't look like a top team, but they play like a top team. They don't put 5 at the back or 6 at the back. They just go with attacking players. They do what they top teams do, and that's why Pep Guardiola and certain managers really respect Scott Parker's tactics in terms of playing a team like Fulham, and I really do appreciate it. So I think in this game, the centre-backs will have a lot of time on the ball, and if it's Rob Holding, I think he should be able to pick those good passes, because if you're going to look for the front runners, they're going to look for those balls in behind the Fulham defence, because they come really high. They don't sit back. They come quite high like a natural position. So it's going to be those balls behind the box, and I think Mikel Arteta would probably go with Rob Holding, and I'm seeing some improvements in terms of Rob Holding, probably thinking that, look, David Luiz is something that is his strength. I have to try and put that into my game, and he's starting to implement that, and I'm really happy for him in terms of trying to make sure that he solidifies his position. He's someone in a new 4-year contract as well, so he's only going to be someone that's going to be playing in this team for a very long time, unless Mikel Arteta says, look, you got the contract, but now you're going to leave the club, which looks very unlikely, with David Luiz also probably going to leave as well at the end of the summer, and Mikel Arteta unlikely to give him a new contract, which I think is the right decision to do. So hopefully Mikel Arteta goes with Rob Holding. But as I always mentioned in every single predicted lineup now, is the fact that why not play Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mari? Give Gabriel Magalhaes an opportunity at right centre back and play Pablo Mari alongside him. We didn't see that partnership, because we always talking about the fact that we've got very good left centre backs, but they're centre backs overall, so you can try and play them, because we'd put Holding and David Luiz in the same centre back pairing. Why can't we do that with Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mari? I don't know if you guys agree with me. Make sure you guys leave it in the comments below, because why not have 3 left footers in the game? That's something different. No centre-backs really have that opportunity in the defensive lineup. We have 3 that can play there with the likes. You're going to see who else I'm going to put in the squad in the defence. So why not have that opportunity? But if Rob Holding does a good job, I'll go with Rob Holding as well. So now, in the left centre-back position, I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with one man, and that's Pablo Mari. And I really do not have any concerns about Pablo Mari, because I think when this guy's been playing for the team, we've been getting clean sheets. And even though Gabriel Magalhaes might be the best centre-back so far this season, I think when it comes to Pablo Mari, he's something that about him. He just has that calm and composed ability on the ball. And I think he just makes the other players very more relaxed, and no one's more rash. And I see that with Gabriel Magalhaes. He comes on, he's been holding. There's not that good relationship. He's a bit rash on the play, and hopefully Mikel Arteta can fix that off Gabriel Magalhaes' game. That's why I always say, why not play Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes together? But I think Mikel Arteta made it key in his latest press conference that he wants to have the best defensive partnership possible until the end of the season. And we clearly saw that he really rates Rob Holding and Pablo Mari. As he says, the balance is there. He says that the defence is there and it's very solid. So I think he might go with that lineup for the future as well, and for the present as well, for a very long time. And that's only good for these 2 players, because Mari came on the cheap and Rob Holding's been here for a very long time. And even that famously when Arsene Wenger made that English score, and we all know that Rob Holding was part of that as well. So we need to see if Mikel Arteta can get the best out of these 2 players. But I'm happy with these 2 players playing. But as I mentioned, I would love to see Gabriel Magalhaes given an opportunity, because we don't want to hurt that young man's confidence. He's someone that is got the talent, someone that's got the ability. Just give him the opportunity to just play 1 or 2 games. The game against Fulham is something that I would like to see, because you saw in the first game we played, he got that all-important goal in his debut. So why not play Gabriel Magalhaes instead of Rob Holding? But it's up to you guys what you think. But we're looking at Mikel Arteta, and I think he's going to go with Mari and Rob Holding. So now we're going to move into the left centre mid position. I got a bit confused there. Not left centre mid, left back, and that's Granit Xhaka, because Xhaka always played in the left centre mid, but now Mikel Arteta has adopted the system. He's changed everything up, and I think he's got another lifeline on his hands, because we can clearly see what Mikel Arteta does when it comes to his cup competitions. He has something up his sleeve. Last time, when it was a semi-final and the final, he brought on Maitland-Niles. He put in a centre-mid in the left wing-back row, and now it's Granit Xhaka, a centre-mid in the left-back row. So you see that Granit Xhaka can play in that position, and he's always made it clear even in that latest post-match interview he had, that he doesn't care where he's playing. As long as the team wins the Europa League, he's happy. And that's something that all the players will be happy for. And I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with this back four. And I'm happy with that back four, to be honest. As I mentioned, I'd rather see Cedric Suarez and Gabriel Magalhaes given the opportunity, but the left part of the defence looks very good in my opinion, because Kieran Tierney is out, but obviously we'll say Kieran Tierney in that left back position, but we need to give that opportunity to Granit Xhaka, some confidence in that game, so we're ready against Villarreal and ready to take out Unai Emery's army. So now we're going to move into the left centre mid position, and this is where we're going to have a little bit of questions. Who is Mikel Arteta going to go with? Is he going to go with El Neni, or is he going to go with Dani Ceballos? Because those are the two players I see that can play in that left centre mid position, because the fact is, Granit Xhaka probably solidified that position for himself, but Mikel Arteta has said you move to the left back position because you're left-footed. So I think it's either between El Neni or Ceballos, and I think he's going to go with Mohamed El Neni. And for me, really, El Neni is someone I see as he can play in that position easily, and he does the basics right, and that's something that makes him still in the team for me. And he will allow Thomas Partey, who I'm going to put in the right centre mid position, to move more freely up forward, have the opportunity to do his thing on the ball. And you saw a little bit of glimpses of how good he is in the game versus Sheffield United with that brilliant assist to Alexander Lacazette. So you can clearly see that this partnership could work. But I would love to see Dani Ceballos. They really do think just place Ceballos and Partey together in every game now until the end of the season, unless Kieran Tierney is back earlier than expected, because I think the Partey and Dani Ceballos can make a good partnership. They're both very good on the ball, especially Ceballos. When he's on his day, he's one of the best players I've seen on the ball, and he's very admirable. But sometimes when he doesn't have the confidence, he doesn't have the abilities, and the mindset's not right, then that's when you start to see the Ceballos that we saw of late, when he was very, very poor, when he was making silly errors, and everyone got onto him very badly. But I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with this midfield pairing, because the reason being, because in the number 10 role, I think he's going to go with Dani Ceballos. And the reason behind that is we still don't know this if Emil Smith-Rowe is fit to play every single game at the moment. And with Martin Odegaard probably out until the end of the season, the only three players I see playing in that number 10 role is probably Willian, Smith-Rowe or Martin Odegaard. But the thing is, I think Willian might be playing in that left winger sort of role, and I think that's what Mikel Arteta is going to do. And I think with the fact that Dani Ceballos can also play in that number 10 role, he's probably going to go with Ceballos. But he might adopt the formation, maybe playing Smith-Rowe, knowing how good this guy's been for the club. I think, like, I've seen a statistic where at 12 games we played, every game that Smith-Rowe's played, we've won 10 or 11. So we know how crucial this guy is. And I think he was overshadowed from his abilities after signing Martin Odegaard, because he did look good. Odegaard does look good. But when Smith-Rowe plays, I don't know, there's something about him. There's that elegance, that gracefulness. He's so underrated in my opinion in this team, and he should deserve more praise, because I think he's someone that deserves the opportunity to play day in, day out. But it's only good that the fact that he's a bit injury prone, and we know that certain players have the talent, but they are very injury prone, certain players, and that's something that I see from Emil Smith-Rowe. So give him the rest when needed, give him the time to regain his fitness, and I would love to see Smith-Rowe play. But if the situation is like that, I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Dani Ceballos. But if it's me, I'll go with Thomas Partey and Dani Ceballos partnering each other and play Smith-Rowe at number 10, or even maybe Willian. But I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Ceballos in the number 10 role, and in the left winger role, I think he's going to go with Willian. And for me, I think actually I'm not going to go with Willian. I think he's going to go with Gabriel Martinelli in the left winger role. We're going to talk about who's going to play the right winger role, and that's going to be Willian. I got a little bit confused for a second, but Willian's going to play on the right wing, and Gabriel Martinelli is going to play in the left wing. And I think why not give Gabriel Martinelli opportunity? And I think Mikel Arteta knows that in the back of his mind now, because if he doesn't play Martinelli, everyone's going to be on his case now. After that performance he had versus Sheffield United, and after he was dropped for Nicolas Pepe, we clearly saw how much everyone hated at the starting lineup when he was revealed. But then when the way Nicolas Pepe played, I think he's going to get his opportunities. He's going to be someone that's going to be a regular when it comes to the big matches, and hopefully he has that thing in his mind, because Mikel Arteta said in his latest interviews, latest press conferences, the fact is that Nicolas Pepe right now is in the right mindset. He's in the right mindset to be a top player. And if his mindset goes down again, if he starts to mess about again, he takes it lightly, then he's going to go back to his worst. But if his mindset is right there, his confidence is there, then I think it's only good for the team at the end of the day. And hopefully Mikel Arteta can get the best out of Nicolas Pepe, because this is the best time to get the best out of any player in my opinion, because now we're going into the most crucial stage of the season, and hopefully the Gunners are able to get the best out of every single player, because I want 110% out of every player in my opinion. But for me, I think he's going to go with Martinelli and Willian. The fact is that these players haven't got enough time, especially Willian. He hasn't been playing recently, and if you want to play someone that you sign, he's probably going to get the opportunity to play versus Fulham. And he got that all 3 assists, as we know, from the first game, and I think he might get the opportunity to play this time round as well. But for me, as I mentioned, I would love to see Smith Rowe instead of Dani Ceballos. I'd love to see Nicolas Pepe on the right, give Saka a rest in my opinion, and play Martinelli on the left, because I think these two can play together, or maybe place Martinelli on the striker role and play Nicolas Pepe and Saka if we really need to. But I think Mikel Arteta is going to be light on this one. He's going to give the fringe players opportunity. They're not fringe, but the players that don't get the opportunity to play. And I think he's going to go with Gabriel Martinelli and Willian in the left wing and right winger role. But I think that's a decent enough left wing or right wing. Hopefully Willian doesn't fail to impress, because he had that part of his game where he was playing very well, and then he went back to his usual, where the Chelsea fans have told me time and time again, you'll see Willian for 2-3 games, he's on his best game, and you're thinking, oh my god, we're going to see the best of Willian, but then he goes back to his usual best, and you know, his game is just like up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's something that the Gunners have been like, up and down, up and down, up and down. And if I was to say that's to Willian, then I'll probably say that's a Willian, probably sums up this Arsenal performance day in, day out as well, in my opinion, because they are inconsistent. That's the word that we learned from this season. Inconsistency is something Mikel Arteta has to address next season, only if he stays in the job, because many fans will be probably against him if we lose versus Villarreal. And if you make him to the Europa League final, I think for me he solidified his spots. It's probably going to be Manchester United, and I've also made some predictions for the Champions League and Europa League, and I'll post it one day on the community post. Make sure you guys check that, and I might be right, because I don't know, I think I feel good about my predictions this time round. But I think there's some predictions I made that I'm really, some people might think, what is he saying? But I think if you watch the games, if I might be right. So we have to wait and see if I'm the genius, but I might be a loser as well at the same time. But I think Martinelli and Willian left wing or right wing is something I don't mind seeing, and it's against Fulham, who look set to be relegated, but they're going to put 100% and 110% because they know how much this game means to them. And I think they'll go with a very strong lineup, and you know that the players have a rest as well, so they're going to be on it 24/7. So give these players that had a game rest, like Martinelli and Willian. They didn't play long minutes, especially Willian. He didn't play versus Slavia Prague. He has full fitness, so he should be able to play, in my opinion. Now we're going to move into the striker role, and unfortunately it was very sad news to hear, because Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has contracted malaria, and that's something that I really didn't expect from him, because we saw from the performances he didn't look shaky. He looked shaky, and everyone was going on to him. But then we don't know what's happening in their personal lives, and we have to take that into consideration. And I wish Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang all the best, because malaria is not something that you want to have as a footballer. You don't want to have to anyone. I feel very sorry for anyone that's had it, because right now, it's the situation I'm in. I'm very grateful to have all these opportunities to do this, but you know, there's so many people struggling in the world, and you can only try and do the little and try to hope that these players, and pray that they're all going to be fine. And we have to just pray that less and less people are affected by these sorts of viruses and sorts of diseases. And we all can do is pray and try and offer as much hope and support as possible. And it's sad to hear that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has unfortunately contracted malaria, but hopefully it will be soon. But any other person that's had it in the world, hopefully they're all getting better, and that's all I can wish. As from my part of view, it's okay, Aubameyang has it as well, but there's hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people that have this problem. But we have to see, and the world's not going to be nice to us, so we have to take it into consideration and pray that everyone is in a good situation later on, and have everyone's feeling healthy, much stronger, and much better in their lives as well. So for me, it's either pretty much between Lacazette or Gabriel Martinelli, or even maybe Fulham Balogun or Eddie Nketiah. Those are the 4 players I see as strikers at the moment, with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's situation not probably going to let him play. I think for me, it's either Lacazette or Nketiah or Balogun. Martinelli is probably solidified himself as a left winger. And if I was to say who's my left wingers, I'd probably say Martinelli and Nicolas Pepe on the left, and Saka and maybe Nicolas Pepe on the right. I just got a little bit confused, but maybe Martinelli and Willian on the left. But then Pepe can play there as well. But the right wing spot is pretty much secured by Bukayo Saka. But give the man a rest. He's put so much weight on his shoulders. He's only 19 years old. Let the guy a rest. Give it now opportunity for the likes of rising stars such as Gabriel Martinelli. Because I do see in his play, everyone's mentioned that this guy's going to be the next big thing. Just give him the opportunities. So in the number 9 row, I think I'm going to go with Alexander Lacazette. He's someone that's in full confidence right now. And if you're a striker, if you want to gain more confidence, you need to get more goals. And in a game like Fulham, where they're going to be very open, in my opinion, they're not going to be your usual Sheffield United or your usual West Bromwich Albion. They're going to be like a proper team, like a number. If you're in the top 10 team, you're going to have 4 at the back, maybe 5 at the back, but they play really high up the pitch and they really want to attack. They're not sitting back or anything. So it's an opportunity for Lacazette to get 2-3 goals if Arsenal play like they did versus Slavia Prague and just go from the first minute. Like the way they played, I was really surprised and I was really happy that they done that, because as an Arsenal fan, you know that the game versus Slavia Prague, you knew that it's going to go into extra time or something and penalties or something, because that's what Arsenal always does to us. But that's something I've seen from Mikel Arteta. He's changed these things. You can always expect the unexpected with Mikel Arteta, and hopefully the Gunners don't go back to their usual selves versus Fulham, because that's what I do fear as an Arsenal fan, and I do think they might do that because the likes of Bellerin back into the squad, the likes of El Neni, Ceballos, Willian, not Ceballos, but Willian, these players I think bring back the old Arsenal in my opinion. But we have to see if the new Arsenal can change these players as well, so we have to wait and see. So this is the lineup I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with, and if I'm going to choose my players, Suarez instead of Hector Bellerin. I think Cedric is much better when it comes to going forward, and you're going to go against a team that's going to go head to head. They don't want to play no defensive game. They don't want to have 5 players at the back, 6 at the back. They don't want to sit back. They want to play head to head, player to player, man to man, and I think Cedric Suarez can really cause trouble to this Fulham defence. But I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Hector Bellerin, and I'll probably go with Gabriel Magalhaes instead of Rob Holding, but it's up to Mikel Arteta. At the end of the day, he is the manager, not me. And see, why not play 2 left centre-backs together and just have that one chance. He tried at Granit Xhaka at left-back and look how good it worked. And I'm telling you, I'm calling this. Play Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes together. I think we're going to have a lot of a difference if you really see them play together. And also Ceballos instead of El Neni for me. But if Smith Rowe is not able to play the game, which I think he should be able to, but I think I'd rather see Smith Rowe instead of Ceballos at number 10, Ceballos instead of El Neni at number 8. In the 2 holding midfielder options, I would love to see Nicolas Pepe maybe give an opportunity at right wing, but I think give those 2 players a rest, play Martinelli and Willian. I think that's the best thing to do, and give even following Balogun an opportunity instead of Alexander Lacazette. But you want to keep that confidence if you're a number 9, and I think Lacazette playing is not that bad. He's our captain at the moment, and hopefully he can deliver more and more performances. But other than that, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed my predicted lineup, but make sure you guys leave in the comments if you agree or disagree. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.